During the 2025 edition of the Formula One Belgian Grand Prix, held at the iconic Spa-Francorchamps circuit, Ferrari provided Lewis Hamilton with a different Brembo-manufactured brake pad. This specific brake component was engineered to offer a more progressive and controlled brake modulation during the deceleration and braking phases. The goal was to enhance the SF25 car's response and make it more compatible with Lewis Hamilton's unique and refined driving style, especially in the delicate and technical braking zones. This particular brake pad solution, which had already been tested earlier in the season by his teammate Charles Leclerc, appears to be better aligned with what Lewis Hamilton requires behind the wheel. It is important to note that this Brembo solution has been made available to all Formula One teams that use Brembo components. Lewis Hamilton, the seven-time Formula One world champion, shared his satisfaction with this new Brembo brake material following the race weekend at Spa-Francorchamps. According to his statements, this updated component had already been trialed by Charles Leclerc during the Canadian Grand Prix. Hamilton said he was very thankful to the Ferrari technical team for providing him with improved parts, acknowledging that his teammate had gained more experience with this material. Initially, Hamilton's comments led many to believe he was referring to a new rear suspension system. However, it was later clarified that the innovation was the newly supplied Brembo brake pad compound, not a suspension revision. The modified rear suspension actually debuted during the 13th round of the 2025 season. This updated brake pad, supplied by Brembo and made available to all of their customer teams in the Formula One paddock, was introduced after the opening rounds of the current championship season. The purpose of this component was to offer drivers greater flexibility and improved brake modulation, allowing each one to tailor their braking inputs to match their preferred style. The idea was to accommodate a variety of braking techniques, from drivers who favor an aggressive and sharp initial braking pressure to others like Lewis Hamilton, who prefer a smoother, more progressive deceleration phase that they can fine-tune from one corner to the next, depending on the track layout and grip conditions. The Ferrari engineers and technicians initially chose to evaluate the effectiveness of this brake pad with Charles Leclerc during the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. The team then decided to introduce the same Brembo brake pad component to Lewis Hamilton's car at the Belgian Grand Prix, held at the historic Spa circuit. This move is part of a broader effort by Ferrari to help Lewis Hamilton adapt to the SF25 chassis, especially in the braking phase, which has proven to be one of the most difficult aspects for the British driver since the beginning of his tenure with the Maranello-based team. The introduction of the new rear suspension system, which features a geometry with increased anti-squat behavior, achieved by lowering the front arm of the upper wishbone compared to the initial configuration, has been aimed at making the SF25 Formula One car more stable and predictable during both braking and acceleration. However, Lewis Hamilton's concerns extended beyond just the suspension setup. He also reported dissatisfaction with the hydraulic steering system, the engine braking response, and the overall dynamic behavior of the SF25 when entering braking zones and during deceleration. The technical department, led by Loic Serra at Ferrari, has been working diligently to analyze each of these aspects in detail, in an effort to improve the car's balance and give Lewis Hamilton more confidence behind the wheel. One specific issue identified during their analysis was that the Mercedes power unit's engine braking system did not provide Lewis Hamilton with sufficient feedback. This lack of feedback was due to the interaction between the internal combustion engine and the brake-by-wire system, which effectively neutralized the sensation of deceleration from engine braking. Even though the engine braking was technically active and functioning as intended, it was not perceptible to the driver in a way that the British driver could feel and control intuitively. On several occasions this season, Lewis Hamilton has expressed frustration with the braking behavior of his car. These complaints have not been directed at the materials provided by Brembo, which remain high quality and consistent across teams, but rather at a fundamental difference in braking philosophy. Specifically, the seven-time Formula One world champion has shown a preference for a more refined and adjustable brake pedal feel, in contrast to the immediate and aggressive bite that the previously used brake pad compound delivered. Following the successful trial carried out by Charles Leclerc during the Canadian Grand Prix, Ferrari decided it was appropriate to offer Lewis Hamilton the same Brembo brake pad option during the Belgian Grand Prix. Based on his initial feedback and the performance observed at Spa-Francorchamps, the feeling within the Ferrari camp is that the Briton has taken a positive step forward. The new brake pad may have provided him with another small but essential improvement in his ongoing process of adapting to the SF25 car and extracting its full potential. One point that has been clearly established is that there was no secret testing involved, nor was this an exclusive component developed in collaboration between Ferrari and Brembo, behind closed doors. According to information reported by the Italian media, the brake pad in question is simply a variant that differs from the one teams originally used at the beginning of the 2025 Formula One season. At a certain point in the year, Brembo made this component available to all teams using its braking systems. Each team, including Ferrari, then independently evaluated the part and decided when, or if, to introduce it, based on their own technical development programs and the preferences of their respective drivers. By introducing this component at the right moment, Ferrari has made another effort in helping Lewis Hamilton become more comfortable and confident in his new environment, a crucial factor for future results as the team continues its push for stronger performances during the remainder of the 2025 Formula One World Championship. As the Formula One season progresses, every small detail can make a significant difference in the pursuit of performance, consistency, and confidence behind the wheel. The introduction of technical solutions tailored to his specific driving style, such as the revised Brembo brake pad, is part of a broader effort to maximize Lewis Hamilton's potential in the SF25. While the path to optimal performance is rarely straightforward, continuous refinement and driver-focused development are essential ingredients for success at the highest level of motorsport. As Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton work hand-in-hand to align car behavior with driver feedback, each race weekend becomes an important step towards stronger results and better synergy. The upcoming races will reveal whether these changes translate into greater competitiveness on track, starting with the Hungarian Grand Prix, which is scheduled to take place this weekend at the Hungaroring circuit in Budapest. The Hungarian Grand Prix will be the 14th round of the season and the 40th edition of this particular race, but also a key testing session for the development of Pirelli's 2026 tires. This double duty makes it one of the most crucial weeks in the second half of the Formula One season. One of the defining characteristics of the Hungarian Grand Prix weekend is the significant evolution of grip levels as the track becomes rubbered in. This phenomenon is particularly noticeable during the first 2 days of the weekend. On Friday, drivers are likely to encounter graining on their tires, which should decrease as more rubber is laid down through practice and qualifying sessions. Thermal degradation remains a major factor throughout the weekend, not just during the race but even during the qualifying runs. Managing the soft compound will be a particular challenge during hot sessions, especially in the final 2 corners of the lap, where overheating could compromise lap times if the tire is not handled carefully. A more detailed analysis for the Hungarian race weekend will be made in the upcoming videos.